So don't set yourself up. Always set your mindset up to be, I'm a queen and I deserve better. I wish I had some of the advice that I give you guys. Everything I'm giving you is stuff that I wish I had. Because I know that being single is a struggle. And it's already a struggle on a day-to-day basis. But I think quarantine adds a little bit more to it. And so I want to be able to conversate on the level of being single, but also dig into being single during quarantine, because it brings on a whole new spin. So that's what we're going to discuss tonight. So while we're doing that, I'm trying to see if we got, let me jump on here. We're going to go ahead and jump right on in it, and chat here. So I want you to start off, April, with a little bit of background, and you don't have to go into detail, but the little bit of background is, I want you to explain the difficulty of being single currently today in today's world.
Okay, well, I think one of the biggest difficulties is that people live in a world where everything is instant. With all the apps that you can be on, with the Facebook dating, with everything is instant. People expect to meet you tonight, and then by Friday, oh, you're my boo thing. We gonna be together, and that's really not how it is. And it makes it more difficult the older you are, because people are like, they're really more fast paced, because they're like, well, I don't need to wait 3 or 6 months to date you. I like you today, and I want to be with you. Where maybe 10 years ago, it was like, nope, we're going to date more. We're going to go out more. We're going to talk about a lot of things. But now, because of apps and texting and FaceTiming and all these things, it makes it more difficult to get to know people really, and to really so be authentic too.
Tell me, what's the struggle? So let's think in a sense of the younger you. Let's go back to the younger you. And let's think about being single. And here's the reason why I'm asking that question. Because the younger you versus the seasoned you is a little bit different. So the younger you tend to accept a little bit more. You tend to be relaxed a little bit more. You tend to kind of let things kind of roll the way they need to roll. But with the seasoned you, it's a little bit different, because it changes from, letting it roll and let things kind of happen the way it needs to happen. It's almost like, in your mind, because you're seasoned, I want this to happen instantly. I know what I want. I know what I need. Here's what it is. Yeah. Either you're going to deliver, or we're going to... So I don't have the option. Well, you do have the option, but I think when you're seasoned, the option of having the patience to funnel through some of that is difficult. So let's go back to the single you at a younger age you, not the season you currently. Then we'll jump in on the season you.
Well, the Sango younger me went to a HBCU where there were an array of chocolate cuties to pick from, and yes, you had so many options. I had so many options. So if one person didn't work out, it would be like, okay, whatever. I don't really care. My emotions were more just like, I'm dating to meet somebody new, or to have fun, or I know this ain't going nowhere with you, but you're a nice guy.
Correct.
So that was 20 years, me. But now I'm more settled in who I am as a person. I'm very much aware of the things that I like and who I am. I'm very aware of what I bring to the table, and I don't mean financial. I mean like my personality, different qualities about myself. Where in my 20s, I wasn't.
Are you willing to give and take? So I know at a younger you, or a younger person, it's a little bit more give and take. But I think at a seasoned person, the difference is, do I have time for the games? Do I have time for the process? Do I have time to wait for him or her to make the decision which direction they want to go? Because here's the thing. Just like men play games. We have women who play games too. So I want you guys to know when we're conversating, we're not conversating just about women because you see two women in the camera. We're conversating about both men and women. But as a seasoned person, I may not have time to play them games with you. But a younger me, I got all the time in the world to play the games with you.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like I got more time. I got more energy.
You do.
You know, I got more spunk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to play the game with you.
Yeah.
But as a seasoned person, look, man, I'm getting old. My back hurting. My knees cracking. I ain't got time. I know what I want. I know where I want to go. I know what I want to do. I just need to know if we on the same page.
Right.
Now, the flip side to that is, do we want to scare the hell out of them? Because the flip side to that is you have to be careful too is, even though I may be mentally prepared to know exactly what I want,
For sure.
he may not be. And so that's a thing where we still have to give and take a little bit, because we have to understand, is he in the same space I'm in? Because, and that's the part that we have to slow it down, where a younger person is either you gonna be where I'm at, or you gonna catch up.
Yep.
And I'm willing to wait for you to catch up. Seasoned person, I ain't waiting for you to catch up. You gonna either tell me, and then we gonna keep it moving.
AT is, first of all, this is so right where I'm at right now in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So being seasoned is true. You are very much aware of what you want.
Yep.
And you're quicker when you're seasoned to be like, oh, you're not willing to give me that, or you're not where I'm at. I'm done with you. I'm talking about myself. I'm not talking about anybody else. I'm very quick to be like, oh, you don't rock that way? Okay, let me move on to the next person.
Correct.
And when you're younger, you do believe I have more time. I'll give this person more time. I'll work with them. I'll be patient.
I'm gonna entertain your food.
Right. But the also part about being seasoned too is that you do have to give people some time, because you're dealing with two older people or two seasoned people that maybe have been single for periods of time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you're both working from a different experience, especially if, I know people are not going to agree with this, but if you have not seen healthy relationships in your home or close in your family, it is very hard for you to believe that it's possible for you. So if you're dating someone who maybe has had a divorced parent, or you're in a blended family, and if you meet me, who my parents been married for 50 years, my aunt has been married for a long time, I've seen good, healthy relationships. I have many cousins that's been married for long periods of time, so I know how it looks, I know how it should feel, I know how it should sound. And then when you meet someone else who's like, well, my family don't get down like that, or I gotta split up my holidays, that becomes difficult as well, because when you're having those conversations about what does a relationship look like to you, and people start saying stuff like, yeah, I don't have to talk to you every day. Yeah, you're going to talk to me every day. Yeah, you're going to text me, call me,
because here's the thing. How do you build on a relationship, and how does a relationship grow? If I'm seeing when I'm in a relationship, and this is the thing, let me tell y'all young folks, let me just step aside a little bit. Let me tell y'all young folks something. It's just as important to have a phone conversation as it is to texting somebody. I feel like, and this is me, but it's work for the old school, and I feel like it's still working. It's important for you to talk to that person, conversate with that person, hear that person. Because here's the thing. You could text me all day, and you could be blowing smoke up my behind, and I'll never know. But in a conversation where I can hear your voice, I can hear your tone, I can catch some of those snags. The other benefit of that too is, I could tell by a conversation if you into me and I'm into you. But a text conversation, I can't. I can assume because of what you're writing me, but what I realize in text form, a lot of people are misunderstood. They're misunderstood because the text come off, the person who's getting the text may take it as, well, oh, she sent me a text and she was rude, or oh, you said this, or oh, you know, I know what you meant by saying this. So it's a lot of misconception when it comes to texting. And so that's why if you're going from single and you're moving into a relationship, find some time to have a conversation with somebody.
Every day.
Pick on the phone. Pick up the phone. Because if you're interested in me, then it shouldn't matter to you that you're going to call me and check in. call me and check in, because then that makes me feel like I'm important.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? But if you don't, if you want to say, well, I'm gonna call her, once or twice out of the week. You ain't for me, mister.
You not.
Move on.
But Auntie, before you move to something else, the thing about texting that someone told me a while back.
Yep.
Texting is just words. It's just what you said. When I know you, I assume, she was trying to be funky or throw shade. But if I don't know you, that's just words. I can assume, they're mad or they're upset or they trying to be cute. But it's just really words. And that's why it's important to call the person. If you're going to date anybody, 20, or if you're my age, you gotta call. You gotta hear the inflection when you're like, "Oh, how was your day? It was all right. Wait, what happened?" Or, "Oh, today was great. What happened?" You need to hear that, because that is what builds attraction, and that's something that dating or being single in quarantine, it has halted attraction, because now these screens make you believe I'm attracted to you, but I'm not in the same space with you, so I don't really know, and I want it. So I start believing, I really like this dude. This dude. But then when I meet him, I'm like, I don't really like him. Yep. Or his personality might not mesh, or mine. Because I'm very aware of...
how do you determine chemistry from a text?
You can't.
I can't determine chemistry from a text.
You can't.
There's no way you can determine chemistry from a text.
No.
So that's why you can't have a relationship, and your relationship is built upon texting. The majority of your relationship is built upon texting. Because let me tell you something. If you're dealing with somebody and all they want to do is deal with you on a texting standpoint, then I'm gonna be honest with you. Y'all building y'all foundation on lies. Y'all building y'all foundation on mistrust. Y'all building y'all foundation on no communication.
That person is not ready, because what I can say, I have 3 brothers, and I have many friends who are on here, and what they tell me, most of them are married. When men are chasers, I don't care if they're 19 or if they're 69.
Okay,
they chase.
Let's stop right there. Hold that thought. Because I want to say this too, and I've realized that I've noticed this a lot. Women have become so aggressive that they have not allowed themselves to be chased. Y'all, that's the most important thing. Allow a man to do exactly what he needs to do. He loves the chase. Allow him to chase you. I'm not saying you need that man to be holding on to your, ankle and it's like, I really like you. Please, please. I'm not saying that. But it's in a man's nature to be a chaser. Allow him to be the chaser. Because, again, if you are a woman that's single and you don't allow him to be that chaser, then you're just as aggressive as them, and that turns most men off. And so I'm not going to say all men are that way, but almost every man that I know love a chase of a woman. So don't give up. Don't just be like, you know what? Well, I know I want what I want, so I'm going to go after wholeheartedly. That's fine. But know that you have to step back a little bit and allow a man to be a man, just like a man has to allow a woman to be a woman. Doesn't mean that he's a man, I'm going to take on his role. And so that's the thing I think that a lot of women...
Say that again.
A lot of women have to allow men to understand that men are the head of the household. Men are important, and it's their role. It's not saying, I'm going to say this. When I got married and the pastor said to me that, you have to commit to your husband. You have to allow your husband to be the man of the household. And so you have to be submissive to him. And my understanding for submission was he trying to tell me what I can and cannot do. Mm-hmm. And so it took me a little bit to understand it. Being submissive is not meaning that man gonna tell you, you shouldn't do this, or you can't go to the grocery store, you can't wear that color. Being submissive is allowing the man to be the head of the household, respecting him as a man. You as a woman don't ever want to take a man's manhood from him, because when you take a man's manhood from him, you've lost that battle completely. So allow him to be the man. And that's one of the things I say to my daughter all the time, because she's so strong-minded that I always have to tell her, look, you have to step back and allow a man to be a man. You can't always think, you know what? No, I'm not doing that. No, they're not going to tell me this. No, they're not going to do this. Because at the end of the day, what man wants a woman that's not willing to be somewhat submissive and trust him? Trust him.
Okay.
Who wants
so
that?
see, Auntie bringing up something that in dating is very important. So I do agree. I agree with everything she said. Wife, being submissive, but also in dating, it may look different. Or single, it looks different when you're meeting someone. No, you're not going to give them everything, or you don't have to be. When I hear her say that, for me, it says to me, I don't need to be opinionated about everything. If he's like, let's go sledding tomorrow, I shouldn't be like, oh, I don't like the snow. 9 times out of 10, he already know I don't like the snow. But if he says I'm an outdoorsy, that's when you have to bend a little bit and be like, okay, am I getting coffee before this? Do what you got to do, because dating is about, you're getting to know someone, and you're not going to know everything about them. But what Auntie is saying is so true. Submissiveness, what we believe it to be, and I'm talking about me, and the longer you're single, the harder it is for you to curve. You can do it, but you got to know what you know about yourself and your person. And this is the importance of those conversations. Having conversations let you know, oh, this man is the type of man that likes to make decisions. Or this is a man that's like, oh, I can persuade him to do something different with a little sweetness and a little submissiveness. Or, oh, I went sledding with you, so next week we're going to go salsa dancing, right?
It's good that you say that, because he can be as submissive to you. It's not saying that, being submissive, you're a punk, or, you're weak, or any of that thing. Look, when you're in love with somebody, you're willing to give and take. And that's the most important thing about it, is you have to give and take. But I want to read a comment. So Tavez said, some men don't know how to chase. Listen,
they know how to chase.
Every man knows how to chase. I think at some point in their life, they may have dealt with women who was the chaser, created themselves to be the bull, and so they kind of allowed themselves to step back. You can guide them. There's always a way you can mold them, you can guide them in a direction, but you have to be willing to give and take. Not just on the woman's standpoint I'm talking to, but on the men's standpoint too. There's some things like, listen, when I first met my husband, I wasn't into no boxing. But baby, I would sit down there and watch boxing like I knew everything there was to the. But you asked me about boxing today. I could talk with the big wigs when it comes to boxing, because I chose to do that because I know that he loved boxing. So that was the opportunity for me to have quality time with my husband to let him know I love you enough. And I ain't gonna even say husband at the time, because when I started doing it, we were in a relationship. So if my husband don't like mushy-washy movies, like he always called Tyler Perry movies mushy women
they
movies.
Are mushy.
But he'll go sit in the movies with me and watch that movie, even though I know, and that means a lot to me, because he's willing to give and take. And so as a woman, or women that are out there who are chasers and not allowing men to be chasers, step back, baby.
And that's important, because and when I think of chasing in quarantine, it's constantly texting. It's how are you? And they don't get a chance to reply. And I'm working. It's constantly I'm doing that. Let him, if he go 3 days and he like, I ain't talked to you in a couple days. Yeah, I haven't talked to you either. Like, don't be like, yeah, what's up? Where you been? Because that's not our role. Our role is to be like, yeah, I haven't talked to you. How are you?
Right.
And it's hard. It's not easy when you meet somebody. And there was a meme going around, Auntie, I don't know if you saw the beginning of quarantine in March, and we're about to be in a new March soon, that said, whoever I start talking to, I'm going to be married to them at the end of this thing. Oh, yeah. But we going on a whole year now. Yeah. And it was, it's funny, because you're thinking, I'm going to get to know somebody. We all in the house together, not really together, but we all in the house. And we as women have to, there is a part that you can teach men how to chase you. You can be like, boo, I'm not like, they're on the internet like we are, so they know there's options. But give him the best option. Just like when people go shop for cars. Yeah, everybody can't afford no Lexus coupe.
Nope.
That's why when you go, you show up a certain way.
But you might get a bucket. You can fix that bucket. See,
you can.
You know what? This is another thing.
You can.
This is another thing. I'm going to say this too. I know that most women that are out there, younger or old, when they're looking for a mate, they have this picture of how he needs to be. He needs to be tall, dark chocolate, handsome. He needs to be all these things. Listen, sometimes God can send you your life partner. He can send you your spouse. But because you got all these doggone checklists, oh, you know what? Well, he ain't got this. He too tall. He too short. He ain't got this. You've missed your opportunity of your blessing that God sent to you. And so sometimes we get in our own way. And I'm going to say this to women that are out there who are single and been single for a long time. And I did this with my niece. What you need to do is you need to create a checklist, and you need to start to soul search yourself and find things that you did that please you. So what I'm meaning is, I'm single now. You know what? I stopped doing, date nights I stopped going to the movies by myself because I didn't want to go to the movies because I'm single. I wouldn't go to restaurants to eat because I'm single. So some of those things you need to continue to do, because what you're doing is you need to make sure you have a stronger you. So when you find your Mr. Right, you're okay with you. It's important to be comfortable with you and yourself. And then you want to allow yourself to lose yourself in a relationship. You want to allow yourself to lose yourself in a marriage. And that's the thing that's key.
That is key. That losing yourself, the activity that Auntie is talking about, I have stopped talking to someone. This is before quarantine. Thank God I did it before quarantine. And it was a series of different journal prompts and different activities to do. And it really helped me because, it forces you to look at yourself. We all think we're great. We absolutely do. Like some of us do affirmations every day. I'm great. I'm wonderful. But I oftentimes think from those activities, would I want my son dating me? If a girl came in with all my characteristics, would I be like, oh, she gonna be good for A1? Or am I gonna be like, she a little? And then I would have said no, because I had a lot of walls up and a lot of things going on.
Correct.
But now I'm like, yes, this is a person who's independent, but she's loving. This is a person who has her own things, but she's willing to bring you in. This is a person who, she's not perfect, but she's willing to understand and get to know you. And that's some of the hardest part of being single as you get older, because you get so, I don't want to say stuck, you get so comfortable with yourself that when you meet somebody else and they're not comfortable, you just like, boop.
You have to say stuck because you're stuck into a mold. You're stuck into a mold because you're comfortable with yourself, and you've done things the same way for so many years of being single. It's hard to kind of allow a person to kind of creep in and figure out who you are. And that's why if you take the time to work on you, to figure out, what I need to do to make sure my temple is okay, to make sure my mental is in place, to make sure I'm the best me. So when Mr. Right come, we ain't got to deal with them extra bags. Because them extra bags will stall, kill, cause somebody to run a different direction, run some stop signs trying to get away from you. So it's important to make sure you know where you stand and you're comfortable with you. Because listen, most women and most men who are out there that's single, they're single and they've been single for a while, it's usually because they're comfortable with the way they are and they don't want to waver. They don't want to waver. So the new boo come into their life. They got all the old models of what they used to do and how they dealt with someone from the previous relationship. Let me tell y'all a thing or two. Don't bring your past into your current relationship.
Say it again.
Don't bring your past in your current relationship. Leave it where it's at.
That requires work. That right there requires work, because what you said is so important. And it's true. We bring... So I'm just gonna say somebody's name. Dwayne didn't mess me over. He didn't did me wrong. As soon as I meet Marky Mark, I'm like, I like Marky Mark, but Marky Mark ain't about to dog me. I'm about to boss up and get. And then Mark is looking like, dang,
you're holding
all that?
Marky Mark responsible for Dwayne, and that's not fair to Marky Mark. Let me tell you something. There's not a perfect woman. There's not a perfect man. But what you can do is you can be as close to perfect as possible. No one is never perfect. I don't care what marriage, what relationship you get into. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be mistakes. Now, I'm going to tell you this. If you dating and you see some things that you don't like, Don't waste your energy and your time staying there. Because all you're doing is you're wasting your time on a situation that you know you're not going to stay in. So if I met somebody and I know I met somebody and one of my things is I know I don't want to deal with somebody who is a heavy drinker. I don't want to deal with somebody who's a smoker. Don't set yourself up for that, because let me tell you something. What you're going to do is you're going to still mess with that person, Now your heart is committed. Once your heart is committed, you're going to make some choices and make some decisions that's not right for you. So now you're in a relationship for 4 years and you're unhappy. And then you're like, you know what? I can't do this no more. I'm gone. You wasted 4 years of energy, time, strength, everything on somebody that you knew from the beginning. Wasn't what you wanted.
We have to, and when I say we as women have to be able to. One thing I know about men, they'll walk away. Yep. They'll be like, "This ain't it." I don't care if we've been there for years. They'll be like, "I'm done," and they gone. Yep. We be like, "Well, let's try to work it out. Let me see. Maybe he gonna change. Maybe he'll stop smoking."
We have a soft spot.
We do, but what you said is important. My list says no heavy drinking, no heavy smoking. I don't care if he look like Billy D. Williams, whoever you think, Kobe Bryant, whoever.
And he can have all the money in the world.
You're not going to get past those two. You're going to always be talking about he doing this and he doing that and he smoking again. Where he at? Oh, he done went to the liquor store the third time today.
Yep. You're going to regret it. That's a part of life you will regret.
Right. And so for us as women, we have to stick to our guns. Because men stick to their guns. If they meet us and start dating us and they're like, well, that don't really jive with me. I'll just use, I don't want to use church, but let's just say I work part-time. Some men are like, I want a woman that can hold her own. I don't want to come in and have to help you pay your rent and do it. Some of them are like that. And
not to say they won't help you.
Right,
they want to make sure you're not codependent on them.
Exactly.
And no different than you. Listen, men have checklists just like we got. And when I mean checklist, I mean your rock bottom. Anytime while you're single, take some opportunities to say, you know what is it that I really don't want in a relationship? What is it that I really want in a relationship? Create those checklists so when you get into a relationship, you know what's your rock bottom. Because let me tell you something, baby. If you don't create a rock bottom for yourself, if you don't create a checklist for yourself, you gonna deal with some foolery you ain't gonna even realize you would deal with.
They got them out here clowns.
I promise you're going to deal with some foolery you wouldn't even think you would deal with. Because you never created a rock bottom for yourself to say, what is it that I'm willing to take and what is it that I'm not willing to take? Now I'm going to tell y'all this. Men make mistakes, women make mistakes. Yes. I'm not saying they make one mistake, they make two mistakes, you decided to exit the room and I'm done. What I am saying to you is make a decision what you're willing to take. I may be willing to take 3 mistakes and I'm out. You may be willing to take 10 mistakes and you out. That doesn't make it right or wrong.
Right.
I'm me and she's her. It's her decision in her life on how she want to do it. Don't judge people for that. Because let me tell you something. Women love hard, but men love just as hard as we love hard. Once they love you, they love you. Once we love you, we love you. Once you got our heart and you're intertwined in our heart, we love you. And that's why it's important to make sure you know where you are, what's your place, what's your space before you get into a relationship, so you don't have to deal with the foolery and you wouldn't be sitting behind bars like I be sitting behind bars.
What Auntie is saying is so real, because the other part she touched on that she didn't go back to is that mental health piece is so important. Because if you are not mentally healthy, whatever that means for you, if you don't know your triggers, if you don't know what things set you off, if you don't even know how to say, how do I address this with this person that I'm getting to know, then you're not ready. Because you have to be able to say, hey boo, you did this thing and I didn't like it. That's it. I don't have to get. And then when they say, well, what did I do? You did this. And if you think that this person is worthy or whatever, you have to tell them, that made me feel this way. That made me feel dismissed. That made me feel like you weren't thinking about me. And a lot of men, out of
sight, out of mind.
Right. They're like that. But a lot of them, once you tell them, they're like, oh my goodness, boo, I didn't know. I'm sorry. And if they like you, they're going to react a different way, and they're going to be like,
They're
I know
gonna
how to
change
move forward now. Now, if they don't like you, they're going to do
They're
the
gonna
same
continue,
thing
and if
tomorrow.
they continue to show you that, then you know what to do. So I have a quick question. So here's another question on here. So Jeanette said, "What if the chasing stopped once they have you?" You know what? I'm gonna say that it does stop to a certain extent. I'm not gonna lie to you. In a relationship, it does stop to a certain extent. But at that point, I think it's also important for you to try and do some things too to show him, you know what? We both on this chasing game. We both. What I mean by men chasing, when you just begin in a relationship, allow the man to be a chaser, y'all. Allow him, because that's how a man is cut out. Allow him to be that chaser. I'm not saying throughout the relationship you can't chase him a little bit, because he wants the same feeling as well. But you can have a conversation with him. You know, just say, you know what? You chase me, but I think there's some things that we need to do. Let's step back a little bit. Let's think about what you did to get me. And even I'm 35 years in the game. 35 years, and I still have a conversation with my husband sometime and be like, you know what? I just wish you do, certain things. I wish you initiate some certain things. It's nothing wrong with having a conversation, because communication is key. Communication is going to keep that relationship floating, but it's also going to build that strong foundation so he knows where you stand, you know where he stands. But if you don't build a firm foundation, baby, you're going to have so many cracks in that foundation, you ain't going to know which way it's up.
Yep. I think to touch on the chasing,
Yep.
I feel like if you're in a relationship with them, once you're in a committed relationship, I think you got to do the chasing too. You got to do the cute little text messages. You got to be like,
Yep.
when we're out of COVID, I
Yep.
made reservations for 8. I laid your clothes on the bed. I'm gonna meet you
Yep.
there.
Yep.
I'm not saying to be all out there, but do whatever. You know your partner.
I
you
still
know your
currently
partner.
do that. 35 years in the
And
game and still do it.
That's all I know of seeing
Yep.
you and my parents and others.
Yep.
Even if it's just like, okay, I know we can't go to Ruth Chris. Maybe you go to Capitol Grill
Yeah.
tonight and just say, I'm not. Or maybe you put the kids to bed early, or get your niece or somebody to take them and say, tonight I'm going to recreate our first date or whatever. Those are things that keep the chase up. And men want to know, oh, you care for me like that.
Yep.
You remember the flowers I got you, or you remember the scent I had on. All of that is good. Even I've heard people, and it might have been AT, when I've heard men say, oh, my wife always put a note in or she always leave me a chocolate
Yep.
kiss.
I do.
You might not think it's going far, but he
It
just
does.
don't do it. He gonna be
Yeah.
like, so what's up today? I didn't
Yeah.
get no note in my lunch.
He would definitely appreciate that. And one of the things Toe said is, sometimes with us being comfortable with ourselves, we can push men away, and that's true, because we're so comfortable with ourselves and we're so caught up in being self-centered that we don't step back and take an opportunity to look at the complete circle. One of the things from work to life, to home life, one of the things I always said, anytime somebody came to me or anytime somebody asked me a question, I always looked at it from a complete circle. And the reason why I looked at it from a complete circle, because I wanted to step outside of who I was, to make sure that I'm approaching it in the right way. Because we can be biased. We can definitely be biased when it comes to us. And so that's the part that we also have to be careful, because when you so stuck on yourself, that's just ugly. That's ugly when the conversation is consumed all about you, and you don't give them the opportunity to barge into the conversation and say, so here's what I like, here's what I don't like.
Yeah.
Don't make it all about you. Being able to give and take is important in any relationship.
Yes.
To also say we won't see what's wrong with us because we're blinded.
We ain't blinded, Toe. We know what's wrong. We don't want that person to call us out on
Well,
it.
we are blinded in a sense, and what that means is
You know
we're
what's up.
blinded in a sense, like we know it, but we're so caught up in ourselves that we're blinded in not knowing that in this time, in this opportunity, we could have handled the situation a little better. We could have handled a conversation a little bit different. And so that's the thing. We tend to shoot ourselves in the foot before we start. You have to make sure that you are ready to be in a relationship. That's the part that's key. You have to make sure you're ready to be in a relationship with somebody. You also have to make sure that you are ready to intertwine with. Because sometimes people say, you know what, I'm ready to be, in a relationship, but really they're not. They're not ready to intertwine everything about that person. I don't like that he, go to bed with socks on. I don't like that he always want to watch killing shows.
Yeah.
I don't like that he like apple juice and I like orange juice. So we find things to make the situation worse than what it is.
But when people, okay, I'll talk about me, because I am to myself, my own self-talk is, I'm a sabotager. Like, if I think something's too good, I'll be like, yeah, that ain't gonna work. But you got to get to the place too of knowing that, yes, it's okay to be confident. But like Auntie said, if he go to bed with socks on, is that gonna? I don't really care. I don't really care.
It's not gonna kill you,
because he might say, you going to bed without socks on? Yeah, because I don't like my feet to be hot.
Correct.
And a lot of men are less. They're less uptight. They're like, okay, as long as you're comfortable. We're the ones that's like, but I want you to do it this way. A man
don't want a nagger.
No, they don't.
He don't want somebody like his mama. Like his mama. Look, why you pick them shoes up? Why you did this? Why you put your pajamas in the dirty clothes? Why you do? A man don't want a nagger. And so that's the thing. Us as women we have to be very careful to not come off as their mama.
Even when you're dating.
He don't want to be intertwined with, having sex with his mama.
No,
he don't want to think that I'm dealing, but I'm saying, if you is that person that's kind of putting it out in the air, like, why you didn't pick up your socks?
Right.
What mix you, I'm going to put your rice here. Here go your bread. You want me to feed you? So we just have to be careful that we don't put that out there, because even though literally he's not intertwining and having sex with his mom, the thought process is, I'm looking in the mirror and my partner is my mama.
Right.
Like, who want that? Another thing I'm going to say to y'all, single women, stop giving up your cookies so easy.
I was just about to go there, Auntie.
Stop giving up your cookies listen, your cookies is a treasure. Your cookies is important. Make sure you're not just giving your cookies out. Every man that comes along, you want to sample my chocolate chip cookie? Here, you can have one of my chocolate chip cookies.
Unreadiness.
Here, you can have some of my.
Unworthy.
Stop giving up your cookies so easy. That's where it's important to make the man chase. Mm-hmm. Allow him to chase you. Listen, I'm going to tell you one red flag single women need to look out for. If I'm in a conversation with a man and we talking and, we just getting to know each other, and day 2 we on a conversation about sex. Now, anybody who know me and my niece will tell you, this me, and I don't care. People could view it however they want to view it. I'm talking about me. Sex is important to me in a marriage. So before I walk down the aisle, I need to know what you're working with. Because if I marry you and you ain't performing and you ain't got what I expect you to have, Lord, I'm getting an annulment.
Expect you to have. Well, okay, Auntie, before you get into the marriage part, when you're single, Auntie, okay, she's so right. When you're meeting people and getting to know someone, that first week, if you start talking about what you like intimately,
sexually, all he want to do is bang you.
And I will say, during quarantine, because we're still kind of in quarantine, sometimes people, we're lonely. So I'm just gonna admit it. Sometimes there are nights you're lonely or days.
Yep.
And you just want that physical, but if you give in too quick, then the chase is done, and then they just start calling for that.
They really won't respect you.
They're just gonna be like, "Oh, it's Friday night. You ain't call me."
I'm gonna call. No, you know what it's gonna
Tuesday
be?
night.
I'm gonna call little girl. She gave it to me quick. She wants some more. What you gonna be in that book is you gonna be the afterthought. You're not gonna be a person where they're gonna have a conversation and say, you know what, I really want to deal with her from her mental standpoint, have a conversation with her, kind of intertwine with her outside of sex.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can, touch some spots in a conversation that I would normally touch in a sexual interaction.
Yeah.
Because it can be done. Mm-hmm. I don't want y'all to think it can't be done. It can be done. But if you give up and you give in too quick, you've killed your opportunity.
At all costs, don't give in too quick. I don't know if it's 30 for people or 60 or 90 or whatever it is for you, but Because for men, once they get that, it's like, well, what else is there? I don't need. Yeah, I didn't got what I mean. I don't want to say it like that, but that's how their thought process is. That's what I wanted. I got it.
You do. You have to make sure you know which direction you want to go, but you also have to make sure, by all means, lock your cookies in a safe and put a key on it and throw that key away until you've had a conversation about a multitude of things. Connect with them on a multitude. I mean, down to parenting. People forget this a lot, but when you in a relationship, and let's say I'm bringing a kid into that relationship, and let's say he doesn't have a kid, you need to have a conversation with them to understand, how do you feel about parenting? Mm-hmm. What's your pitfall in parenting? Because they don't really know. Or you could be dealing with a person who has kids, you have kids. How do you guys deal with that together? Mm-hmm. Because you have to remember, they have other partners that they dealt with who they had kids with. How is that relationship? You want to have a conversation about all those things, because you don't want to get yourself into some mess that you got to deal with baby mama drama, baby daddy drama. You don't have to deal with that. Because that will kill your vibe in your relationship before it even starts. So that's why it's important.
And the parenting thing is very important, because the more mature you are, you're less likely to find someone who doesn't have any children. Even if they're grown out the house, you still have to talk about if I have a child, he's in my home with me every day. So there's people that get their children on the weekends. There's people that get them every other week, whatever. So you do have to talk about that, and it's it's not easy. It's not easy to bring that up or to say, hey, what do you think about, like, some people, if I was younger, when I had my son, I was younger, he slept in the bed with me. But if I would have had a mate, he probably would have been like, no,
he can't sleep in the bed.
But you got to talk about that too, because some men are like, well, they all can sleep in the bed with us. And you might be thinking they can't sleep up in this bed.
No.
Who's going to get them up in the morning? Because I get up for work don't mean I want to get kids. Like, you have to talk about things that you just... Because nothing, when you're older, it's not just gonna, I like you and it's gonna mesh, and I like Red Lobster, you gonna like Red Lobster. No, you might get to Red Lobster and say, I'm allergic to seafood. I'll be mad then, because can I get my food to go in? Or you can't have it in the car.
You have to know those things about them. You have to know those things about them and charter those waters, because if you're single and you want to get into a relationship, it's important to know. Especially if you're a seasoned person and you've been single for a long period of time. We ain't got time to be wasting our energy.
No time.
You ain't got time to be wasting that. So it's important, like I said in the beginning, when you're younger, I could play some games with you.
And I want to say to single women who are seasoned, don't let your married friends, I love my married friends, they're wonderful, but don't let them be like, girl, you could do better. You got to have your list and what's in your mind. And what Auntie said, I like how she started out by talking about the physical, because a lot of us, I hope it ain't me, Lord, gonna miss our good thing, because we looking for this, we looking for beards, we looking for bald heads. And I'm sorry, he might be Papa Smurf, but he might love you, take good care of you and your baby. You ain't gotta want for nothing, and if you do want for something, he know he gonna go get it, but you gonna miss him because you looking at the tall tree over there who is a hoe, or he ain't got no job, or can't keep a job, or if he do have a job, he's stingy. But but God allows that, because that's what you wanted. And Papa Smurf, you see him out in the street and you like, I could have
had him. Look, I spent 10 years with him, and I done wasted, out of the 10 years, he committed to me 1 year. Nine of my years, I done wasted 9 of my years. You know why? Because you allow self to kick in. And go with self-thought process of what I want, what I need, what I should get. You didn't allow God to send you your mate. Listen, God will send you who he think benefits you. You may not be like, well, he ain't my type. Well, where he come from? You have to give people an opportunity and have a conversation. Because let me tell you something. Sometimes the ugliest man could be the
sweetest. Don't say ugly.
I ain't gonna say ugly. I'm just, and when I mean ugly, I mean in inside. I'm gonna say, I ain't gonna say ugly. I'm gonna say sometimes the man may not be the person you're looking for,
right? Because
of a physical attraction you're looking for,
right?
But that man could be the best man for you. He's touching all the points that's important to you. He's hitting all them hot spots that's important for you. And so sometimes we lose we will lose our blessing because we're so busy looking for the physical piece of it. You may not even have chemistry with him because, oh, he bomb, he cute, he got money, he dressed well. Baby, you take off them clothes, you peel back that bank account, you be sitting back like, Lord, what done happened? I know next time I'm going to trust and let you send who you think is best for me. So that's why it's important to make sure you connect with who you are. Mm-hmm. Another thing I'm going to say is this for single women as well. Allow your single sisters, aunties, mamas, be able to tell you things about you that's not pleasing when it comes to a relationship.
Those blind
correct
spots.
Because you will never see your blind spots, or you'll never see the things that you need to work on, because all you're focused on is, I'm a good woman. I'm a good man.
Good.
I have a lot to offer.
You do.
But you could be all of that, but you could be a nag out of hell. You could be a nag bag. You could be a nag bag.
Auntie, you right.
And I'm telling you,
you right.
It's always important to take some time and do a checklist on yourself. If you take nothing else from this live, take this nugget.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a checklist on myself. I'm going to survey me to make sure I'm comfortable with me. Because if you're comfortable with you, then it's easy for you to bring somebody else into the relationship.
Yeah.
But if you're not comfortable with you, then you're setting yourself up for failure before you could even start.
Yeah.
Because I said this in one of my other lives. How can I come in a relationship with a glass half full?
Yeah.
I can't. How can I give you me when I'm half empty? You need to make sure your glass is full to the brim. So you will have an abundantly of you to be able to share and give.
Yeah.
And so that's why if you take the time to work on you, get you right, you're going to be able to see some of those things that you're not happy about with that new Mr. Right.
Yeah.
And you're going to be like, you know what? I don't think you for me and I'm for you.
Right.
And here's why.
Right.
And you don't have to be nasty about it. You don't have to be dirty about it. But you have to be upfront and honest about it. If you're not happy in the situation, if you're not happy in the relationship, do not stay in a relationship just because he cute, he got money, he good in the bed. Don't do it.
All of those things could fade away. Get in a car accident, change your whole physical body look. Have a health issue could change your whole stamina. I mean, there's so many things. I just want to go back to Auntie talked about your friends telling you about who you are, your aunties or your whoever, your grandmother or a person at work. If you value that relationship and that person's opinion, you definitely have to be able to be in a place to say, okay, that is me. And you have to be able to take inventory of yourself and say, this week I'm working on this.
You're not perfect. Be able to take criticism.
I'm a person that somebody told me, I like to talk a lot. Mm-hmm. And I remember someone said, you just interject anytime you want.
Yep.
I looked at him and I was like, because I like to talk.
Yeah.
But when he said it, I was like, oh, that can come off rude. And people don't like that. So I had to tell myself, like in my brain, I'd be like, wait till they're done talking. Yep. Wait till they're done talking.
But I don't like dead air.
I don't either, Auntie.
So that's where that's and I know you're like me. That's where my downfall is.
Some people feel like
I don't
it's
like
rude.
dead air. So and that's currently today, even in a marriage, I struggle with that. I don't like dead air. I like to have a conversation because I feel like if there's dead air, then I'm bored. And once I lose interest, I lose interest. And so I know that's my weakness. And it's good that you brought that up because sometimes us being a chatterbox, we don't get the opportunity to listen. Mm-hmm. It's as important to listen as it is to just conversate. So that's the part that's key. I'm going to say this and we're going to wrap it up. I have to say this. I appreciate you taking the opportunity to be candid and sharing with people. Because listen, the nuggets that you delivered tonight is going to help a ton of single people. And so when I'm doing these lives so people could get educated and they'd be able to take some of the nuggets and use them and know that, you know what, now I'll get the opportunity to survey me. And once I survey me, I know my weak spots. I know what I need to work on. If anybody is interested in doing the challenge that I had my niece do a couple of years ago, you know, and one of the things she said to me, she said, Auntie, she said, I just feel like God slighted me. And what did I tell you? I said, God didn't slight you. I said, just because there's people out there that's married, that are out there that are married, marriage is not all peaches and cream. Right. It's hard work. I said to her, take the time to work on you so when your Mr. Right comes, you are 100% ready and willing to move forward. So don't always think just because I'm not married or I haven't found my Mr. Right, it's a bad thing. It's a bad thing. It's always good to have some time to sit back, breathe, quiet time so you could have those checklists. But if anybody is interested in, you know, me, because that's one of the things I did. When I had her do different things, and the different things I had her do allowed her to find time to connect with her. Because I felt like she had lost herself because she was so focused on looking for Mr. Right. I said, take time, breathe. You know, do some things that you know that you haven't done in years with just you. And so I'm going to end the live tonight with saying this. Being single is not always bad. No. It's not. And I don't want people to think that. People think that being single is a bad thing. It's not always a bad thing. It can be temporary. It can be permanent, however you choose it to be. But know that if you take the time to work on who you are as an individual, things will change. Take some of the stuff that she shared with you guys tonight. Take some of the stuff that I've shared with you guys tonight and utilize it and work on you. If you have any topics that you guys want to discuss, feel free to inbox me. My next topic I'm going to do blended families. Because I think that's a struggle too, because it's hard to bring in kids and everybody else. So blending families is going to be the next topic I'm going to do. But that's not going to happen until the following, because I'm going to do every other. So I'm not going to do Freaky Friday this week. I'm going to do Freaky Friday next week. And then the following week, I'll do blending families. So every other week, there's going to be either Freaky Friday or it's going to be Let's Chat with Auntie Nella. So I appreciate you guys taking the opportunity, coming on and joining my live. Let people know I'm on, view the video. But before I go, I want you to just wrap it up. Share something with somebody and tell somebody, you know, give them some encouragement to know that the process will get better. It will get easier.
You are enough. You are wonderfully made, men or women, but you have to put in the work and you have to realize that being single it's not a bad thing. It can be a great time for you to do the things that you want to do, work on things you want to work on, travel, see the world, try new foods, learn a new skill, but you can't look at it as like I'm the only one in my group that's not married or coupled up. You have to look at it, well, they're just not here yet. They're just not here yet. They're just not here yet. And that's really how you have to be open to whatever's going to happen. Because if you look at it from a default of he's not, you know, God forgot about me, then it's not going to happen. You got to go into it as being, this is where I'm at right now in my life. I'm working on me and focus on things for you. If you want to go to school, go to school. If you want to learn a new skill, learn a new skill. And you don't know what's going to happen, because when you focus on yourself, other people see that light and that goodness. And they're like, oh, let me see, why is she single? She doing, moving and shaking, she traveling or whatever you're thinking. It may not be traveling. Maybe you like to read books, and that's fine. Who knows? You might start a book club, or you might say, you know what, I'm about to read a book a week. You never know what God has in store for you for just working on yourself. Singleness is also something that people in this Western culture has made it such a, oh, why are you single? What's wrong with you? There's nothing wrong with us.
It's a taboo.
It just hasn't happened yet. And some of us if you're on any of the apps, you know that there are many people that get married after 45. Many. And they are madly in love with this person that's gray, balding, have got teeth, or take them out at night. They love them.
I agree.
Where there's some people in their 20s, they're like, I don't want to be with this person, but I didn't started a life with them.
Settled.
So take the time and listen to Auntie. And really, I would say to any woman on here, and if there's men, if you're in a point where you're like, I can't receive none of this, I just want to be with somebody, you need to do the challenges. You need to inbox her, DM her. You can do the challenges the activities while you're in quarantine, because a lot of them you're doing alone, and it's gonna force you to look at yourself. It's gonna force you, and it's gonna make you think. Balance. You're gonna be thinking all the time about me. And it's not this outer, it's what's inside, because that's what we attract people. It's our heart that attracts, and it can be as simple as if Auntie gives you a challenge that's like, today when you go out, I want you to smile at everybody. Now we got on these masks, you can smile with your eyes. Or she's like, I want you to, just take some time and pamper yourself.
Yes.
Do that. Don't wait for somebody to buy you. If your pampering is a Louis Vuitton bag, why you gonna wait for somebody else to buy it so they can disappoint you and buy you the little wallet, and you be like, I wanted the bag?
Be happy for you. What she said is, you are enough. And that you are enough. Before we go, I want you guys to send us some likes tonight. Share my videos. I'm gonna someone just let me know that the share, it's not out there on my videos. So I'm gonna try and figure out how we get the share out there on the videos, so you guys can share. But feel free to, like I said, inbox me and let me know if you're willing to fight for you. You're single, you're willing to fight for you and do this checklist for you. All you got to do is let me know. We in this thing together, y'all. I'm here to help and do whatever I can do, because I want you to be single, happy, and content with your life however you want it to be. But I also want you to be married, but I want you to be married, and I want you to be married and bringing on healthy baggage, not unnecessary baggage that's not good to carry on to a relationship. I love you guys a ton. I'll see you next Friday, not this Friday. See you next Friday with Freaky Friday. All right, love you guys. Have a good night. So don't set yourself up. Always set your mindset up to be, I'm a queen and I deserve better. I wish I had some of the advice that I give you guys. Everything I'm giving you is stuff that I wish I had.